As Paul sat in this prison cell, these words that he penned were true then and they're true now. See, Paul was at the point of his life, he was looking less out the front windshield and more out of the rearview mirror. Long gone was his Damascus Road experience where he met in a blinding light. He met this man named Jesus who said, Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? And then he went on to this incredible missionary journey and planting churches and writing much of our New Testament. Even penning the words in Galatians of what the fruit of the Spirit looks like: love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness and faithfulness. Well, you can feel the dark cell, knowing his time was soon going to come to an end. See, Timothy had been with Paul on some of Paul's good days. But now Paul was in his final days. And these words he wrote to Timothy were real then and they're real now. And they're what you and I need to know in a life of what's coming and bad news and what's next. Paul goes, Timothy, I want to tell you what it looks like to be faithful when the season is hard. See, it's easy to be faithful when the season's good. But how do you do it when the season's hard? I want you to read along with me these words that Paul penned to Timothy. But you, Timothy. Now, Timothy, 4 years he's been leading this church that Paul left at Ephesus. So he's got a little tread on his tires. But Paul knows there's a lot more to come. But you, Timothy, you certainly know what I teach. You know how I live. And you know what my purpose in life is. Timothy, you saw it up close. Timothy, you know what I'm about. You know what makes me tick. It's been 4 years since the last letter Timothy got from Paul. But now this letter gets delivered and it's under very difficult circumstances. And I'm sure Timothy knows that when you get imprisoned by Nero, you are not getting out. We know soon thereafter this letter, Paul was beheaded. And he's telling Timothy, Timothy, you know me. You know what I teach. You know how I live. You know what's important to me. And look at what he said. You know my faith, my patience, my love, and my endurance. Timothy, I didn't start the race. Timothy, I'm finishing the race. Timothy, I didn't just start strong. You know I'm trying to finish strong. You know how much persecution and suffering I've endured. Timothy was witness to some of it. We know he went on at least 3 of the journeys with Paul. You know about how he was persecuted in Antioch, Iconium, and Lystra. But Timothy, remember, the Lord rescued me from all of it. Yes, and everyone who wants to live a godly life in Christ Jesus, and I want you to circle this, I want you to underline it, I want you to highlight it, will suffer persecution. Timothy, don't let it catch you off guard. Timothy, you're going to wonder where God went. You're going to wonder if you did something wrong. You're going to wonder if you missed the memo or you missed the rest of the story. Timothy, I want you to remember, if you follow Jesus Christ, you will suffer persecution. Don't let it catch you off guard. So what do we need to do about remaining faithful? Not when we're on top of the mountain, but when we're in that valley. How do we remain faithful? Write down a couple things this morning. Here's what Paul wanted Timothy to know. Your faithfulness, Timothy, is going to be tested. Your faithfulness is going to be tested. I want you to write down why. Because testing shows what it's made of. Paul wanted Timothy to know your faith, Timothy, is going to get tested. Here's 2 ways it's going to happen. One, people are going to try to discourage you. See, even people in those churches that Timothy was going to pastor, they weren't always going to want the same things Timothy wanted or the same things that God wanted. And he wanted Timothy to be prepared. Don't let it catch you off guard. People are going to try to discourage you. If they came after Jesus, who's perfect, they're going to come after you. Don't let it catch you off guard. But the second part of that, not only they try to discourage you, some people are going to try to deceive you. There's going to be people in this world that are going to try to get you off the mark. There's people in this world that are going to try to get you, Timothy, off point from going where you want to go. They're going to try to deceive you. But evil people and imposters will flourish, and they'll deceive others and will themselves be deceived. It's something about tough times that makes us want to find an out, right? We look for something simple. We look for something that makes more sense. Sometimes people discourage us, and sometimes people, Timothy, will deceive you. Be careful what and who you believe. Look at point number 2. Timothy, I want you to remember your God will be with you. I want you to write a little thought under it. Even when it appears he won't. When you walk through that valley and you walk through that dark time and you walk through that season of not knowing. I saw Christine Kane, a great writer, author, speaker, say the other day, never have I said the words, I don't know, I'm not sure, can I get back with you later, more than I've said them in the past few months. And is it hard to find God in all of it? Yes, it is. But here's what I know. The same God that was there on the day that you met him isn't going to leave your side. God always keeps his promises. That's what faithfulness means. God always keeps his promises. He is a promise keeper, not a promiser. He's a promise keeper. Point number 3. And Timothy, your convictions, they're going to hold you. See, beliefs are things that we hold, but when we get squeezed, right? Boy, those beliefs can go out the back door because we're not all in. But convictions, beliefs are something that we hold. Convictions are things that hold us.